Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is Ron's Amazing Stories. We have stories that should thrill you a little and chill you a little.
It's amazing.
What you'll hear are adventures sent in by you guys, classic stories from the pulp mags, and episodes from the golden age of radio. We have special segments like Ghost Stories with Sylvia.
That's amazing.
And These Are Your Stories. So settle in for the next hour and enjoy the show. One more thing. You just might want to prepare yourself to be taken away from today.
Another 5-minute mystery.
This 5-minute mystery is being brought to you by Audible.
Wow, that's great.
Yep, and let me say it's nice to have you back.
Sure, but you did fire me.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. So, do we have a good story?
Good is relative.
So true.
In a small Mexican town just across the border, Inspector Howard Hanley sits comfortably in a side street cafe.
Inspector Hanley! Has anyone seen the inspector?
The table by the window, I think you'll find him there.
Inspector Hanley! Oh, there you are. I am so afraid I'll not find you.
Wild excitement, Pedro.
This is the Americanos in the old Manuelo place. You must come quickly.
Mr. and Mrs. Shepard, you mean? What's up? Don't tell me it's another seance.
Oh, plenty she is up. A little while ago I come in from the horses. Mr. Shepard and Mr. Cortez, they are there in the library.
And Mrs. Shepard?
She's dead. Senor Cortez, he sent me for you.
Oh, you made a fast trip, Pedro. We'll make a faster one back. Come on. Looks like we've got some excitement on our hands. Oh, Inspector Hanley. You have looked at the body? Yes, stabbed. One good blow. Been dead for about an hour, maybe more.
Oh, no, it can't be.
Mr. Shepard seems to be taking this pretty hard. Inspector, this is a most terrible thing which has happened. I almost feel responsible myself.
Do it. I couldn't have. Inspector Hanley, you've got to believe me.
Hey, what's going on here? I will explain, Inspector. You no doubt are familiar with the fact that Mrs. Shepard was quite a believer in the supernatural. Well, I knew she had seances up here frequently. I myself am somewhat known in the field of hypnotism. Mrs. Shepard, she asked me to come up here this afternoon to see my work. I see. When I arrived, she asked me to perform for her. Mr. Shepard, he do not like this stuff too much, especially when she begged him to let me hypnotize him. Mr. Shepard fought your attempts to hypnotize him? See, it was very difficult for me to perform. The best results come when the subject is willing. I see. Shepard, what do you say to this?
I don't know, Inspector. I only know I was determined he wouldn't hypnotize me. I had a headache anyway, and finally I guess I must have blown up about the whole thing and left the room. I went upstairs and fell asleep. The next thing I knew...
That is not so, Inspector. He was in his hypnotic state that he killed her. 1 minute he was just standing there while I was concentrating over him, and the next minute he grabbed that knife and he stabbed her. It was then he ran out of the room and upstairs. Are you calling the man a liar? Not a liar, Inspector. When Mr. Shepard awoke, he may have thought that I did not hypnotize him, but regretfully enough, in this situation, I did. Well, Mr. Shepard, it looks pretty bad.
Oh, no, I didn't do it. I couldn't.
Hold on, Shepard. I said it looks pretty bad, but not for you. I'm holding our friend Cortez here for the murder of your wife.
Why did Inspector Hanley arrest Cortez for murder? You know the clue? In a moment we'll hear, but first...
This storyline appears to be right up your alley.
Why is that?
Seances and hypnotism.
Not really familiar with either.
Really?
I've heard of them.
But your stories are so creepy.
Not really connected.
They're supernatural in origin.
Is that so?
They are.
Is this where you do an I'm so stupid diss?
Of course not.
Well, good.
But the other day you did try to kill a bird by throwing it off a cliff.
Not sure why that didn't work.
And now, back to our story.
Cortez, you gave a very convincing story of hypnotizing Mr. Shepard and of how, while in that hypnotic state, he killed his wife, went upstairs, and then awakened, not realizing what he'd done. You're a fake, Cortez. It's obvious you don't know too much about hypnotism, or you wouldn't have given yourself away. You said quite plainly that Shepard here fought your attempts to hypnotize him. The best hypnotist in the world will tell you that you cannot hypnotize a person against his will. Come out of that trance, Cortez. You're under arrest.
Of course, there is no explanation as to why Cortez wanted Mrs. Shepard dead.
Not really the point, is it?
What do you mean?
The idea was, did you catch the flaw?
The whole story was flawed.
Oh, then, you did get it.
This really dumb story was brought to you by Audible.
What's that you say?
Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Today, we have a special edition of Johnny, Is It True? Featuring 4 stories about Priscilla, but only one of which is true. Get ready to unravel the mystery and try to figure out which story is the real deal. Next up, we have a listener's story sent in anonymously. It is a spine-chilling tale of a woman's encounter with a shadow child. Prepare to have goosebumps. As the podcast continues, we bring you our featured story from the OTR series Screen Directors Playhouse, starring the legendary Gregory Peck. This thrilling tale takes us to a ghost town and explores the mysteries surrounding lost gold. Get ready for a captivating adventure filled with suspense and intrigue. Finally, we conclude this episode with a segment called Not So Important Times in History. Here, we're going to meet an extraordinary kitty named Oscar who miraculously survived sinking ships a whopping 3 times. Get ready for a heartwarming and amusing story about this remarkable feline's incredible resilience. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast. We have a mix of mystery, thrills, and a touch of humor in store for you. Let's get things started with a brand new edition of our favorite guessing game, brought to you by Audible.
Johnny, is this true?
As you know by now, I like to surf the internet to find the strange and unusual. I do this in the name of the podcast, but the truth is, I would do it anyway, even if there was no podcast. What you're about to hear is...
Johnny, is this true?
I will tell you a story and then ask the question, did I make it up or is it true? Your job is to decide. Let's get started.
Johnny, is this true?
In the past, you've said that you really enjoy it when I come up with 3 fake and 1 real story. You have to decide which one is which. So, that's what we're going to do today. Our real story was sent in by Priscilla Geary from Prescott Valley, Arizona. She lives there with her husband Frank and their 2 children. She has been listening to the podcast since 2019 and has always wanted to tell a story on the podcast. Now, the problem is, I have 4 stories and only one of them is truly what happened to Priscilla. So, let's get started. Story 1. Priscilla wasn't always an adult. When I was young, my dad, my sister, and I would often cycle to a local park. One time we were there, my sister and I were racing around within the park while my dad was still further up at a play area that had swings and a seesaw. As we were heading back to where my dad was, we heard him shout, "Watch out! There's a car!" We veered off the road, and seconds later, a car driven by some knob came whipping around the corner, nearly hitting us. A bit shaken, we cycled back to where my dad was. When we got there, I thanked him for yelling a warning so that we could get out of the way. He looked a bit bemused and said that he hadn't shouted anything, but he sure had thought it. It was then that we realized that we had been too far away to hear him, even if he had yelled. But it was his thoughts that essentially saved us from being run over. Story 2. Priscilla was a professional coral reef tour guide on Buck Island in the Caribbean. One day while giving a tour, she got separated from one of the divers. She got the rest of the group back to the boat and went after the missing man. She looked all around the areas they had visited, but couldn't find him. Out of the corner of her eye, she spotted a 4-foot white-tip reef shark. The shark seemed agitated and kept nudging her. A feeling came over her to follow the shark. She did, and the beast led her directly to the missing man who had gotten himself caught in some netting. She freed him and led him back to the boat unharmed. The shark swam away, never to be seen again. Story 3. Priscilla is a firefighter in Prescott Valley. She is stationed at the Yavapai Fire District Station, number 58. Here is her story. We had been called out at a fire at a local tavern. Everyone had gotten out except for one missing employee. Priscilla and her buddy decided to re-enter the building to look for the woman. The place was engulfed in flame and had spread to the roof. They knew they only had seconds. Then a woman appeared to them and told them to get out. They headed for the door, and seconds later the roof collapsed. Had they stayed any longer, they would have been killed. The woman that told them to leave was the missing employee. They both identified her from a photo. Later, her body was recovered from the bathroom. Story 4. Arizona is the home to many UFO sightings. Both Priscilla and her husband are UFO enthusiasts. Here is their story. They had found a rare night where they could get a babysitter and decided to head out into the desert to skywatch. They set themselves on a bluff overlooking a valley. After about an hour in, they noticed a series of lights coming from the east. They were moving in a strange pattern, circling each other, with one darting back and forth. They kept getting closer and closer till one broke off from the rest and headed straight for them. That was all they knew. The next thing, they were sitting in their car in their driveway. 2 hours had passed, and they had no recollection of what had happened. To this day, it's all lost time. Okay, there are your 4 stories, one of which is true. The rest were made up by me. Do you know which one is real? Let's find out.
Johnny, is this true?
Lost time in Prescott. Was Priscilla a victim of a UFO abduction? Well, the truth is, if you thought that I made this one up, you were right. This is not true, except that there are a lot of UFO sightings in Arizona.
Johnny, is this true?
The firefighter's ghost. Well, the lie in this one is that Priscilla is not a firefighter. So, by default, the rest has to be a lie. However, the story is actually true and was experienced by Beth Michaels in Idaho.
Johnny, is this true?
Okay, that leaves 2 stories. Coral Reef Shark and Father Saves Kids with His Thoughts. Which one do you think is real?
Johnny, is this true?
Well, I did some research on Buck Island to make that story at least seem plausible, but everything else was made up. So, no savior shark to be had. That leaves Father Saves Kids as the true story of Priscilla Geary from Prescott Valley, Arizona. Did you guess the right one? Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Johnny Is It True? If you have a story that you want to put in, do it, and I can create a whole lot of fakery to go with it, or you're welcome to create your own. This has been
Johnny, is this true?
Johnny Is It True was brought to you by Audible. They have more stories than you can imagine, and you can get a 30-day free trial and a free audiobook at audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories. They built a medium that redefines the spoken word. Why not give them a try? And now, it's time for your stories.
These are your stories, sent by you, for you.
This week we have a story that has a story. I received an email from, deleteme666@gmail.com. She told me that she wanted to submit a story to the podcast but wanted to be sure that it was anonymous. I assured this person it would, and I got it a few days later from that same account, which now has been deleted. When I get stories like this, it all comes down to whether I can use it, and I have to check if it was plagiarized. As far as I could find, this is an original story, and I might add is quite epic. Is it real, fiction, or something more? I'll let you decide. I have titled it, A Shadow's Nightmare. Ron, here is the story that I promised. I want no credit, and I will not attempt to prove or disprove it. You can take it for what it is, a story, or you can believe me and try to understand why I'm not telling you who I am. There's no real cloak and dagger here, and for the record, none of the places I mention are real. However, this did happen, and I have the mental scars to prove it. Thank you for your podcast and the work you do. You can call me X-Person from somewhere. Here is my story. This story took place about 6 years ago. We had just moved into a home a few doors down from my mother-in-law's. She had been diagnosed with cancer, so we moved closer to help her. My husband and I had one child at this time. He was around 2 or 3. He had always shared a room with us until we moved there. His room was on the far side of the house, and we had a baby monitor in there just in case. About 2 weeks after we moved in, my husband left for work about 8 or 9 p.m., as he worked thirds then. Our son was asleep, and I stayed up watching TV for a little while. All seemed well as I lay in bed, and I listened to the TV in hope of some sleep. As I started to drift, I hear quick footsteps like our son was running to our bedroom door. I sit up expecting my son to open the door. I wait, and the door never opens. I got up, walked over and opened the door expecting him to be standing there, but he wasn't. I walk down the hallway, and I don't see him anywhere. I go to the kitchen to get a drink of water before I try to go to sleep again, thinking this was my sleepyhead playing tricks. The house was so silent, I figured he wasn't awake. I take a drink of water, and then something catches my eye. In the darkness, in the opposite hallway across from me, I see a little silhouette. I feel a rush, and my legs go weak. I call out my son's name and ask if he's okay. But it just stands there perfectly still and silent. As I round the corner to go to him, my son's voice comes up from behind me and says, "Mommy, the little girl won't stop playing and keeps waking me up." My heart skips a beat, and I grab him up. I turn back to where the shadow was, and there was nothing there. Fear raced through my body. I have heard of shadows, BEKs, and other evil creatures, and I wanted nothing to do with them. I went back to my bedroom with my son in arms. I closed and locked the door, said a prayer of protection, and we both tried to get some sleep. A few minutes later, I heard the sound of running in the hallway again. This time it was accompanied by a little girl's laughter. Then came the knock on the door. What happened next is something that I will never forget. A voice that is so very hard to describe said,
"Mommy, why can't I come in?"
I was done. I took a few things, grabbed my son, and ran to my mother-in-law's house, never to return to that place again. We lived with her until she passed away a few months later. We sold both houses, never to return to that neighborhood again. Ex-person from somewhere. Well, that is creepy and yet epic. A story that gave me chills as I read it. I have so many questions and so many thoughts. Was this an evil spirit or just a lost soul looking to have some fun? I surely don't know. Shadow stories are so very hard to pin down. Most experts think that they are quite evil, and your story doesn't make me think of playful little girls who just want to have fun. Thank you for sharing it, and if you ever want credit for your story, please feel free to contact me. Well, that's all we have for this time. If you have a story that you want to share, like X-Person did, head to the main website at ronsamazingstories.com and click on the story submission banner. Leave your story, give it a title, and tell me where you're from. I'll read it if I can. Our featured story comes from the OTR series Screen Directors Playhouse. It is titled Yellow Sky and stars one of the most revered actors of old Hollywood, Gregory Peck. This was a great movie that came out in 1948, and it's no wonder why they wanted to adapt it to radio. It has it all: desert action and a pistol-packing tomboy. She and her grandfather discover a band of bank-robbing bandits, led by Peck, looking for refuge in their ghost town. Add in some gold and a tribe of apaches, and you have adventure. Also, this one has some of the best Pabst Blue Ribbon beer commercials I've heard. It is titled Yellow Sky, and it first aired on July 15th, 1947.
Oh, waiter.
Yes, sir?
I'll have some sliced chicken, some potato salad, and a bottle of cold Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yes, sir. Finest beer served anywhere.
From Hollywood, Pabst Blue Ribbon, finest beer served anywhere, proudly presents Screen Directors Playhouse, production Yellow Sky, director William Wellman, star Gregory Peck. The Hollywood Screen Directors present a story written in the Western Sands. The popular motion picture Yellow Sky, starring Gregory Peck, and introduced by the director of the film, Mr. William Wellman. Our guest screen director tonight has created more than individual motion pictures. He has created entertainment for a generation, bringing scores of hours of adventure and drama to the screen as the director of such memorable pictures as Wings, A Star is Born, The Story of G.I. Joe, The Oxbow Incident, and tonight's adventure, Yellow Sky. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. William Wellman.
century ago, the frontiers of the West sounded their siren call to men who were strong and tough and ambitious. And sometimes they were lawless, with a swaggering contempt for justice. Today, the frontier still sounds its call to adventure in the tales of its time and people. We heard that call when we filmed tonight's story. And now here it is for the first time on the air, Yellow Sky, starring Gregory Peck in his original role of Stretch.
In the flat pan of the desert, the ghost town of Yellow Sky hugs the seared brown dust, sinking into its own barren loneliness to escape the sun. In the deserted quiet, nothing lives, nothing stirs, until...
Grandpa! Grandpa! There's men coming! 5 men coming across the desert!
Stretch. I can't. I can't go on.
Keep going.
Bull Run's right. What's the use? There's nothing but desert. No water for 2 days. The horse is useless.
Keep going. There's an end to this sand somewhere.
You find it for us, Stretch. You got us out here.
Hold on. Stop. Now listen to me. Dude, Lengthy, Bull Run, Walrus. Nobody forced you to come. Could have stayed on the other side of this desert. Let the army troops hang you for bank robbers.
Or maybe it would have been better than this.
Then maybe you should have stayed, Lengthy.
You're the boss, Stretch. You're the leader. This was your idea.
That's right, dude. Now, come on.
Stretch. Up there on the rise. Look behind you.
There's nothing but sand.
I saw her, all right. A woman with a rifle. Top that rise.
Bull Run's going crazy.
Well, he ain't all that crazy, not yet. I'm having a look up there.
Look at Lengthy. Wetting his lips and nothing to wet 'em with. Just thinking about that woman.
Lengthy's a ladies' man, Walrus. Me, I'm a gambler. And being a gambler, I'll just bet that Stretch gets first call on anything we come across. Money, water, or woman. Ain't that right, Lengthy?
Oh, he ain't so tough. Someday I'm gonna...
Oh, no, you won't, Lengthy. Stretch is smart, and you're not. You won't do anything.
Yeah? What about you, dude?
That's different. I'm smart. Maybe smarter.
Look, Stretch is waving at us.
Come on. There's a town. There's a town over here. Yeah, there's a town, all right.
You sure picked a good one, Stretch. A dead one, a ghost town.
Water. There ain't no water.
Shut up.
There's a sign. Yellow Sky. Fastest growing town in the territory.
It's a fitting place to die, isn't it?
Nobody's gonna die. Well, keep going.
Stretch. There she is, the girl.
What do you want? What are you doing here?
I'll put up your gun. We don't mean no harm.
Where'd you come from?
Across the sink. We need water. Bad.
What are you running away from?
We want water, ma'am, not talk.
Well, there's a spring here, between those 2 buildings.
You hear that? There's water.
Water?
Come on, Bull Run. Get on your feet. You ain't gonna die now.
Go on, drink. But stay away from my house. I told you to stay away from here.
I just wanted to pay you a friendly visit. Thank you and your grandpa for the grub.
You would have taken it anyway.
That's right. Yeah, we're used to taking what we want. Now, why do you always have to be toting that rifle around?
I don't trust you.
You can trust me, but them others, they're talking about you, saying how pretty you are. Wouldn't trust them.
Animals. You're all animals.
Now, that Lengthy, he's going to come prowling around. A girl like you, you're sort of a challenge to a fella like him.
You get out of here, I'm going to shoot you.
I don't like women who act so high and mighty. I think I'd better take that toy away from me.
Outlaw, you dirty outlaw!
Hit me. Why, you
Young fella, I wouldn't go stirring up no trouble with that girl.
Oh, that's quite a punch she's got there. Come in mighty handy when she gets married.
Oh, Mike's as tough as a pine knot. I ought to know. I'm a grandpa.
Mike, huh? Well, you taught her good.
Yeah, me and the Apaches.
Apaches?
Oh, fine people, supposing you understand them.
Any of them around here?
Oh, from time to time. Now you run along, young fella. If you and your friends need anything else before you hit the trail, you come and tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, sure we will. I'll be seeing you.
Grandpa, what you treating them so nice for?
I know what I'm doing. Fight them and right away they get suspicious. You just leave this to me, Mike.
Get the horses. We're pushing on. I said move. We're leaving.
Dude's got other ideas.
What kind of ideas?
Gold.
Here? You're crazy.
Doesn't make sense. The old man and the girl living here alone. I've been looking around. Found half a dozen cradles and a big sluice box down there in the canyon.
That's abandoned junk just like everything else around here.
There's a shack there, too. Apache's been living in it. I could smell him. Strong as a fox's den.
There's too much money laying around in banks for us to be worrying about any little dab these people got.
Maybe it ain't so little.
That's for me to decide.
Dude's doing some deciding, too, Stretch.
You figure you're the boss now, dude?
Personally, I don't care who's boss. As long as we get that gold.
That's the way we all feel.
All right. Supposing they got gold. I'm the one that's saying how we'll get it.
Now you're talking.
Maybe I ought to have a little talk with a girl. Alone.
Keep your hands off her, Lengthy. We don't want no trouble like that.
Oh, that ain't no trouble.
I'm warning you, all of you. Leave the girl alone. Now, let's see about that gold.
Don't suppose there's no use telling you fellas we ain't got no gold?
Well, somehow we wouldn't believe you, Grandpa.
Thieves. I should have shot you when you came.
Soon, I guess you'll be twisting my arm. Well, I don't want that. I might as well tell you.
You're a smart man, Grandpa.
Yellow Sky was a silver town. Silver petered out. Mike and me, we figured there might be gold. Moved in when the others left. And we struck it all right.
Where is it?
Gold's a mighty dangerous thing when you want it just for greed. We was going to reopen the town with it.
Oh, we ain't so greedy. We'll make a deal, supposing there's enough for all of us.
Now, what kind of a deal was you figuring on?
50-50. We'll split.
Well, that sounds fair enough, seeing as how things are.
How much? How much is there?
Counting the dust, about 50,000, maybe.
50,000?
Grandpa, don't tell him no more.
Where is it?
Cast in the mouth of that old silver mine on the hill. When we seen you coming, we knocked out a few of the timbers. It's buried now. You'll have to dig for it.
Like I said, Grandpa, you're real smart. You made a right good deal.
Evening, ma'am.
I'm telling you, stay away from me.
Oh, now, is that any way to talk to a man who's been digging hard for gold all day? Why, lots of girls would be glad to have Lengthy come calling.
Leave me alone. I'm going in the house.
Not yet, you ain't. You're staying with me for a while.
Let go of me!
You just ain't used to men.
Lengthy!
Huh?
Leave her go!
You don't own me, Stretch. I got a right to come
said
call.
leave her go.
Ah, she ain't worth nothing anyways.
I told you no one was to bother the girl. And keep your hands away from that gun.
I wasn't.
I know you wasn't. Now get out of here.
All right, Stretch. This time.
You all right?
I guess so. Thanks.
Oh, wait a minute. Where you going?
Inside with Grandpa. He's worried sick.
About what?
Running off with all the gold and leaving us nothing.
I gave him my word, didn't I? I made a deal.
The word of an outlaw.
Look, I come from good people. Maybe I ain't no angel. Seems like I always been chasing or being chased. Well, that's the only way I know. Brought up on the frontier, my ma was killed by Indians, my old man shot down in a gunfight.
They'd be real proud of you, wouldn't they?
Well, all I know is they taught me to stick by my word, and I'm sticking to our deal. I swear that on my ma's memory.
Maybe you're telling the truth.
Before you go in.
No. You're just like the other one. Let me go.
Now you can go. If you want.
Oh.
Say, you're kind of enjoying it.
I shouldn't have let you touch me. I shouldn't have.
Hello, Stretch.
Dude, what are you doing here?
Just looking. That's going to a lot of trouble, isn't it? All that swearing and promising just to get one female.
She believes me. She's crazier than I figured. Come on. We got a lot more digging to do tomorrow.
You are listening to Screen Directors Playhouse production of Yellow Sky, starring Gregory Peck with Gloria Blondell, and introduced by the director of the film, Mr. William Wellman. You are in Chicago. The elevated trains are roaring overhead. You, collar soggy and shirt sticking to your back, step out onto the boiling pavement. Underfoot, the hot tar bends like rubber. Whew, what a scorcher. And no relief in sight. Wait a minute. What's that little blue sign in the window? Oh, brother. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Finest beer served anywhere. Yes, during these hot July days, you're just one of millions of men all over America to whom that Pabst Blue Ribbon sign means welcome relief. For Pabst Blue Ribbon does something more than quench your thirst. It gives you taste. Blue Ribbon taste. The kind of taste you can't get anywhere else in the world except in that Pabst Blue Ribbon bottle. And fortunately, you can get that Blue Ribbon bottle all over the world. Yes, you hear it everywhere. In Chicago, and Cheyenne, and Charlestown, and Chattanooga. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Finest beer served anywhere. Your taste will tell you why. Now, back to our Screen Directors production of Yellow Sky, starring Gregory Peck.
Come on. Them shovels ain't for leaning.
Well, the sun don't help none. Don't know as that digging's worth it.
Well, we get this gold, Walrus. We won't have to work no more.
Oh, wait. Almost got the mouth of the mine clear.
Maybe they're lying to us. Maybe there ain't no gold here.
They ain't lying. We made a deal.
That's a laugh. Us giving them a 50-50 split.
Where's Dude? That's what I'd like to know. Us working our guts out. He ain't no hand at working. He's nosing around town somewhere.
We got this boulder pried out. The rest of the dirt ought to fall away. Come on. Brace your shovels under it.
All right. Here.
Now.
Yeah.
She's open now.
Come on. Let's get that gold. Here it is. We got it.
Sacks of it. Stretch. Sacks of gold.
Come out of there. Come out of the mine.
Look at it shine.
I said come out of there.
What's the matter with you? You'd think you wasn't interested in
Look.
gold.
Look what's coming.
Oh, it's just a sandstorm.
No wind blowing.
Listen.
Them's horses.
Holy Moses. Apaches.
That's what it looks like. They're heading for town. Well, I guess the old man ain't as loony as we figured.
That sneaking girl. Her and the old buzzard said the Apaches was friends of theirs.
There must be about 40 or 50 of them.
Where you reckon dude's at?
He's probably hiding out in town. I aim to find out what's up. It's almost sundown. As soon as it's dark, I'm sneaking into town.
What about us?
Well, these rocks around the mouth of the cave make a good natural fort. Just don't go wandering around.
Stretch must be right in the middle of them Apache devils by now.
Look at their fires. Must be camped by the springs.
What's that?
Something's crawling over there.
Don't shoot. It's me, dude.
What's the idea of scaring us half to death?
I've been down in Yellow Sky. Where's Stretch?
In the town, seeing what he can find out.
Oh, is that what he told you? You simple fools. Can't you see he sold you out?
Stretch wouldn't do a thing like that.
Suppose I told you Stretch and the girl were putting their heads together last night. Talking. Planning.
Him and the girl, huh?
Yeah, Stretch wants that gold and he's not splitting it any more ways than he has to.
I ain't worried about the gold so much as I'm worried about my hide.
Then if you want to live, Walrus, you better move up on the ridge with me. You got you planted down here so those Apaches can move in and get you anytime they want.
How does dude know? How does he know what Stretch is doing?
Stretch is down in the town, isn't he? Figure it out for yourselves. Now, fellas, let's get...
Stretch!
You got a surprise visitor. Quite a powwow going on out there.
Apaches. They're our friends.
All right, turn them loose on us. Some of your great friends are going to get killed, too.
You'd think we'd turn the Apaches loose on you? On our own people?
You sent for them, didn't you?
The truth is we didn't know them Indians were within 50 miles of here.
What are they doing in Yellow Sky?
Well, seems they've been having some sort of trouble back on the reservation and was out to kill. I told them if they'd go back peaceable, I'd talk to the Indian agent myself, try to get the troubles took care of.
Oh, well, what about us?
I told him you was working for me.
You can't understand that, can you?
Well, why did he tell him that?
Because my grandfather wants to keep a lot of people from being killed. Even people like you.
Oh. Well, is it all right if I wait here until daylight?
Yes, you can wait. They'll be gone by morning. Then you can go back and steal our gold.
But I told you last night...
I'm sorry about last night. I'm ashamed of myself.
What are you fellas doing up here in the ridge? I told you to wait at the mine.
We know, but dude here...
I'm still giving the orders, not dude.
We'll talk about that later. What about the Indians?
They're gone. The old man told them to move out.
For good?
For good.
And I think we better load up and start moving.
First, I want to get one thing straight. Our deal with the old man.
Well, what about it?
The old man played square. Sent those Apaches back to the reservation. If he hadn't, we'd all be laying around now making bones.
So?
So whether you like it or not, we're going to give them their share. Like we promised.
Look, Stretch, we've been friends. Why can't we talk it over? Like this.
You got him, dude. He's rolling down the hill.
No, he ain't got him. Just winged him. He's ducked behind that rock.
Well, he can't stay there forever. We'll get him when he runs for cover. That'll keep him down while we flank him. Get down!
That ain't Stretch's gun.
It's the girl.
Stretch! Come on down. I'll give you cover.
That little rattlesnake.
When this is over, I'm going to take care of her all by myself.
He's getting away.
They'll head for the house.
Then why don't we just load up and get out?
Yeah? And spend the rest of our days waiting for Stretch to stick a gun in our backs?
Lengthy's right. When we leave Yellow Sky, we won't be worrying about meeting up with Stretch again.
You see anything from the back window, Mike?
Nothing.
Nothing on this side.
Well, it's been dark for nearly 2 hours. They'll be coming soon.
Yeah, it's mighty quiet out there. Maybe they left.
Dude might want to leave. He's just gold crazy. But Lengthy, he's got other things on his mind.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike. Here they are.
Stretch! Stretch, are you listening?
That's Dude.
We don't want you gunning for us the rest of our lives, Stretch. And we know if we have a shootout, some of us are going to get hurt. So we'll do what you wanted. We'll split with the girl and the old man.
Just hand me that gray blanket over there.
Here it is.
Now, this rolls up about the size of a man. Keep back, I'm going to open the door.
Stretch, don't.
Keep your eye peeled and shoot for their gun flashes.
That suits me, dude. Hold your fire. I'm coming out.
Well, that sure is one shot-up blanket.
Hey, dude. Yeah, I got Stretch at the door. He was a second target.
Good work, Lengthy. Where are you? I can't see you.
Over here. Look out!
What's happening out there?
Well, it sounds like Dude took a shot at Lengthy.
Hey, lady. It's me, Walrus.
What do you want?
I got Bull Run with me. He's bleeding something awful.
Tell him to come in.
Bring him in. And come slowly.
Get in here.
Stretch. We thought Lengthy got you.
Not this time.
Put him down. Here.
Stretch. I'm hurt, Stretch.
I'm sorry, kid. Walrus, what's happening out there?
They think they killed you. Then Dude, he took a shot at Lengthy. Guess he figured Lengthy might want too much of the gold, but he only winged him.
Where are they now?
Dude lit out for the barn where we left the gold.
And Lengthy?
Following him. Stretch, where are you going?
Out to the barn. I don't want Lengthy and Dude killing each other. That's a pleasure I'm saving for myself.
Oh, Stretch, you can't. There's two of them. They'll...
Leave him go, Mike. Right now, you got a patient to tend to.
Ma'am. Stretch, he wanted to split with you. Dude wanted it all. We listened to Dude.
You shouldn't talk.
Don't make no difference now.
He said he came from good folks. Proud of it. I guess he ain't really bad. Not like the others.
He ain't listening, ma'am.
Stretch! Stretch! Stretch!
Oh, if I didn't know better, I'd say you was kind of concerned.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. They ain't. Here. Take this.
It's your gun.
I'm through with it, Mike.
Through?
Oh, what good's a gun in yellow sky? There ain't nothing left to shoot.
You're gonna stay?
If you and Grandpa let me.
Grandpa! Grandpa, Stretch! He's all right. We're coming in.
Yeah, Grandpa. Hot up the coffee. We're coming in.
You have just heard the last act of Yellow Sky. In a moment, our star, Gregory Peck, and our screen director, William Wellman, will return to the microphone. Hollywood is supposed to be a town of tinsel and glamour. But all that chi-chi you read about is nothing but a publicity front. Actually, most of the movie stars are home-loving folks just like you and me, who get their greatest pleasures from simple things. Sitting in the backyard with friends and neighbors. Cooking hamburgers on a charcoal grill. Serving cold bottles of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Everything in perfect taste. Blue Ribbon taste. And it's that Blue Ribbon taste that makes this internationally famous beer so popular here in Hollywood and all over America. Yes, you hear it everywhere. In Boston's famous seafood restaurants, in Minnesota's beautiful lakeside resorts, in Ohio's friendly roadside inns. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Finest beer served anywhere. Your taste will tell you why. Next week on Screen Directors Playhouse, Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer presents for the first time on the air, Casbah, starring Tony Martin and Marta Torrin. And now, here again is the star of tonight's play, Gregory Peck.
Thanks very much. But the actual star of the Screen Directors Playhouse is the director himself. So here's the man who was really responsible for putting Yellow Sky on the screen, Director Bill Wellman.
Thanks, Greg. It's always a thrill for a director to hear his picture turned into radio fare. But tonight's broadcast of Yellow Sky was more than an exciting experience. It brought back some scorching memories. I mean those blazing days on location under a sun that was fine for movies, but awfully uncomfortable for movie makers. So if for a few minutes my temperature zoomed, it's because of a grand performance by Gregory Peck and an excellent cast. Thank you, and good night.
And good night to you, William Wellman and Gregory Peck. Tonight, before you go to bed, tie a blue ribbon around your finger. An imaginary blue ribbon, of course, just to remind you that tomorrow is the beginning of another glorious weekend. 2 whole days to relax. Don't forget to buy a good supply of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Finest beer served anywhere. Your taste will tell you why. Yellow Sky was presented through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox, shortly releasing Slattery's Hurricane, starring Linda Darnell and Richard Widmark, and You're My Everything, starring Ann Baxter and Dan Daly. Screen director William Wellman's latest picture is the MGM production Battleground. Included in tonight's cast were Gloria Blondell as Mike, with Paul Frees, Jack Edwards, Wally Mayer, Ken Christie, Sam Edwards, and Dan Riss. Yellow Sky, based on the novel by W.R. Burnett, was adapted for radio by Richard Allen Simmons, and original music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. Screen Directors Playhouse was produced by Howard Wiley, with dramatic direction by Bill Karn. Portions of the program were transcribed. Listen again next week when Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer presents
Screen Directors Playhouse, production Casbah, director John Barry, stars Tony Martin, Marta Torrin.
Screen Directors Playhouse is brought to you by the Pabst Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Peoria, Illinois, and Newark, New Jersey, and sent your way with the best wishes of the Pabst Blue Ribbon dealers from coast to coast. James Wallington speaking.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
I love that story for the most part, but I thought the ending was a bit janky. However, what made that story great was Gregory Peck and those wonderful beer commercials. And I don't even drink beer. The movie Yellow Sky was made roughly at the time of release of the more highly acclaimed The Treasure of Sierra Madre, starring Humphrey Bogart. It never got the attention as that movie did. In fact, for the most part, it has been ignored completely, and wrongfully so. Brilliantly directed by William Wellman, along with some of the very latest in camera techniques. We saw all sides of the actors, not just their supposed good sides. The cast, including Gregory Peck, Ann Baxter, and Richard Widmark, all came together perfectly in a highly unique fashion. It is one of the best acted westerns that I have ever seen, and that is saying a lot. Our OTR version of the story left a lot out, and because of that, I highly recommend watching the film. It is available on YouTube. I will have links to the official trailer and the film in the show notes. I hope you enjoyed this one. The beer commercials were great.
Maybe you're sort of tired of eating the same old thing day after day. Maybe you'd like to try something different, something delicious, something with a marvelous flavor that just knocks the spots off any other cereal you've ever tried. Now, if that's the case, why don't you ask your mother to let you have a big bowl of crackly, crunchy, golden brown Wheaties flakes tomorrow morning? Ask your mother to let you have a cereal you'll really like the taste of. Ask her for the big, husky cereal for wide-awake fellows and girls who not only start things, but who see them through. You'll say it's swell.
Try Wheaties, their whole wheat with all of the brands. Want to try Wheaties, for wheat is the best food of man. They're crispy, they're crunchy the whole year through. Jack Hampton never tires of them, and neither will you. So just buy Wheaties, the best breakfast food in the land.
Not so important times in history.
In this segment, we take a look at historical events that may otherwise go unnoticed. We look at history with a fish-eyed lens, giving a perspective that should provide no insight to anyone or any time. But it is historical, or hysterical, as the case may be. Join us now for this event in history. This time we head back to World War II to hear the story of Unsinkable Sam. This was the nickname given to a common house cat who was actually named Oscar. He started as a ship's cat aboard the Nazi ship, the Bismarck, which was sank by the British ship HMS Cossack in 1941. The British crew found the cat floating on a board hours after the ship sank, took him aboard, and named him Oscar. Later in the war, the Cossack was sank after being hit by a torpedo, killing 159 crew members. Oscar survived again and was rescued along with the remaining crew. He was given the nickname Unsinkable Sam. His last service was aboard the HMS Ark Royal, an aircraft carrier that was also torpedoed, this time by a Nazi U-boat. Oscar survived that attack as well. The loss of the Ark Royal proved to be the end of Sam's shipborne career. He was transferred to the officers of the Governor of Gibraltar and then sent back to the United Kingdom. Oscar sat out the remainder of the war, living in Belfast at the Home for Sailors, catching mice and eating fish. Oscar died in 1955, a full 14 years after the sinking of the Bismarck. How about that? I will have a picture of Oscar in the show notes. That was episode number 633, and this time I want to thank Well Delete Me 666, aka X-Person, for that epic story. It really did send chills down my spine. If you want to follow the podcast or the blog, head to ronsamazingstories.com. There you will find any of the links I mentioned and how to contact us. Do you want to help the show? The best thing you can do is to tell your friends all about it, and please leave reviews or feedback wherever you listen. Clicking that follow or like button helps us grow. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come again to find out what are Ron's Amazing Stories.
All of the vintage audio used in the podcast is believed to be in the public domain. Ron's Amazing Stories does not own the rights to any of the old-time radio used here. If you hold the rights to any of the shows played, please contact us immediately at ronsamazingstories.com.